Alright. Everybody's favorite terrible archetype, Grixis Control. We've attempted to make it less terrible by being barely Grixis. So this is a red-black tap-out control deck with a small blue splash for some Nicky B's in the main deck, because he's a great source of card advantage, and some counter spells and Aether Gust in the sideboard. Other sources of card advantage of this archetype feature Mazemind Tome, Chandra, some Tybalts here on the lower end of the curve. In terms of staying alive, we've got Thoughtseize and Agonizing Remorse for some hand disruption. Got plenty of spot removal with Bloodchiefs, Abrade, and Bedevil. And then we've got some sweepers in Anger of the Gods and Languish. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of a Planeswalker deck. I've got an Ugin here in the main deck at the top end to play cleanup. The second one in the main might be overkill, but this card's just like so good against creature decks if you can survive to get there. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this here and see if we can be successful or not. To set a low bar, I don't expect this to be worse than the other decks we've played today. Every win you get kills 20 wild cards in the real world. That's probably true. Rhino! They're a long time sub. Get you after the match, Rhino. That's true. If you're a long-time Hooklandia viewer, I probably tricked you into crafting most of these cards a while ago. Well, shit. Hey, chat, remember when I put 2 Agonizing Remorse in my deck? Alright, let's try and draw those, huh? I mean, I got 4 Grafdigger's Cage in my sideboard, so let's go. I got some counter spells in my sideboard, too.
Yup, you're going down.
Whenever I'm supposed to Thoughtseize them to give them one fewer hit there. I don't even really know what we're looking for, right? I guess we're looking for a black source for this. Doesn't really accomplish anything, though. Because they hit another guy, Rudy, here, right? So, like, this Anger, I could technically, like, clear this. So they get Thassa back, and then Thassa blinks Gyruda. So Spark double copies Gyruda. I assume they've got some Thassa's Oracles or something in here, or maybe they just like mill us once. This is a Spark double. Yeah, I don't think we can really do anything here. And again, like, you know, pretty typical control deck problems. Like, we built a deck to try and keep up with creature decks, and we thought about all the different creature decks we could play against, and then our opponent's playing a graveyard combo deck, and just like, none of our cards really matter, and there's nothing you can do. And that happens pretty frequently, these non-rotating formats. It's one of the reasons why interactive decks like this tend to really struggle in Magic's bigger, older formats, because there's always these miscellaneous... It's not even a Grixis thing, it's just a control deck thing. We like get to bring in some better cards post-board, but still have like a number of stinkers in our deck here, right? Does Gyruda get around Cage? So Gyruda's trigger gets around Cage, but their Unburial Rights do not get around Cage. And like we didn't lose to Gyruda, we lost to Unburial Rights. Magic's non-rotating formats tend to have incredibly polarized matchups quite frequently. And for people that aren't familiar with what that means, it means there's a lot of decks in these formats where regardless of what you're playing, there's going to almost always be something that hard counters what you're playing. It does, puppy. It also just counters Gyruda because it's legendary. Why would Elspeth's Nightmare be decent? Can you explain? Like, it doesn't really impact my opponent's Gyruda stuff, and my opponent's deck here has a lot of self-mill in it, so they just, like, get set back up after you exile their graveyard once. Like, one-shot blast of graveyard hate that you don't really have control over doesn't seem particularly good against what my opponent's deck is doing. Unless you could help explain why, perhaps. What am I missing? Yeah, its third chapter is slow, and you don't really have control over when it happens. Why is 3-mana Ashiok better than Cage here? Can you explain? What is it doing? What am I missing? I don't understand why that would be the case. Shout out to Agonizing Remorse being much better than Thought Erasure, by the way. Ashiok is better than Elf. Sure, you're right. That bad card is better than a different bad card. I agree with that conclusion. Like, a Twitch chat specialty is definitely, like, suggesting cards that are good in, like, the exact current situation you're playing in, even if they are generically bad. Oh, if I would have played this on blue, I could have played this next turn, right? And these are like these two games we've played here now in this set are like pretty peak non-rotating format games of Magic. My opponent was playing a linear combo deck in game 1, and my interaction wasn't meaningful and I couldn't really do anything. And now in this post-board game, I've drawn my sideboard card, and they've not drawn a way to remove my sideboard card, so their deck just basically isn't working because of that. And these aren't really things that are unique to Historic. These are just like how Magic's non-rotating formats tend to play out a lot of the time. Well, we're definitely not using a castle, chat. Okay, and remember, Cage does not stop this trigger. So they get to Gyruda here. Oh no, wait, Cage does stop it. It was Rest in Peace that didn't stop it. I'm wrong. I knew there was a piece of Graveyard Hate that got past it. It was Rest in Peace that didn't do it. I mixed them up. Yeah, it was Rest in Peace that doesn't. That this card doesn't care. Got it. All right, yeah, I'm done. Leyline of the Void as well, because Gyruda isn't specifically putting it into play from a graveyard, it's putting it into play a card that it milled. Yeah, I mean, this game's over, right? You've got a Thassa's Oracle. Enjoy. We are in garbage time. Thankfully, Nikki B here is going to end the game pretty quickly, right? Like, I had to go ahead and drop Shatterskull on this and then ult my Planeswalker next turn. So, like, Nikki B is going to mean we don't stay in garbage time. And, like, we saw a lot of their deck there, and they didn't have a way to beat Cage so far. Oh, we did see Hostage Taker. That's true. That's very true. But we can just kill Hostage Taker to get the Cage back, right? Because if they recast the Cage, it's still fine for us because Cage is symmetrical. Yeah, so Taker's not even a very good answer. I imagine they have some number of, like, disenchants and stuff in their 75. How much removal did we take out? Not all of it, because I just couldn't take it all out. I also have Planeswalkers that are removals, like both Chandra and Nicol Bolas. Kill that. I mean, honestly, I think we mulligan this hand, right? Just like looking for Cage. Yeah, alright, send me up. I think we play tap land on one. I guess I could Thoughtseize off of this. Yeah, actually, let's Thoughtseize on one, right? This lets us spot check for an answer to Cage, too. This means I don't have blue mana for later, but that's fine. Do I want to get Mazemind Toming sooner rather than later? Nah, I don't think so. Let's put my tap plans here. Chandra making 2 mana to draw with Mazemind Tome is sweet the turn she comes into play. I think we just do this. I feel like they're gonna spark double one of their mill dorks this turn. They're definitely winning with the mediocre beatdown plan. And then if they don't have a threat they can play next turn, we get to Chandra kill the Mire Triton. I think I want to scry with this not only to hit land drops, but I also want to be able to gain 4 life in a pinch. Because, like, if they counter spell my Chandra this turn, it's important that I don't die to this being mediocre beats.
It's playtime.
If we draw a land next turn, we can play Ugin off of Chandra's ramp. And Chandra ramping to Ugin and Tibalt is really sick.
Make no mistake. I'm not.
That's awesome. Okay. That is a historic legal card. Yep. Definitely a historic legal card. Like I said, pretty typical non-rotating format gameplay. Like, decimated game 1 because our answers didn't work. We drew one of our 4 sideboard cards that we packed in, and it was fine. Rhino was in chat earlier. I don't know if they're still in chat. We need cats in our sideboard now. Do you know our Tibalt will just borrow their cat? It's fine. Jeff has convinced me to grab Grixis. Grixis wins a match. Hundreds of wild cards cry out in pain. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, in Yeah, sure. Hang on to this one for a second. I think I want to let them draw a couple of cards here. They're gonna cycle this Triumph this turn. So like they're gonna get 2 more cards that I get a chance to discard. Ideally, I want to give them a couple of turns to draw like a payoff before we Thoughtseize them again. There's an affiliate and partner with regards to Twitch. Affiliates are like smaller partners. They have less benefits that come along with it. There's less requirements.
Forgive me.
They let me be an affiliate. Alright, so that probably means this card is a land or a bad card, right? So we'll just hang out for now. Yeah, the requirements to hit affiliate on Twitch are pretty trivial. It's something like 3 viewers or something like that.
Strange and magnificent world.
3 average 3 viewers and get 50 followers.
The
Yep.
land shall conquer you.
Got him.
Harness the elements. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
I think we're dead, right? Oh, you know what? I didn't put any copies of Noxious Grasp in our sideboard. It's probably a little bit of a miss. Breed seems mediocre here. Heartless Act might be fine. We have a lot of mediocre things like Grazer to throw away to this. 2 Ugin's actually probably wrong. Yeah, I mean, this is still good. Why she's always been good, right? She comes down on an unchecked board. We had some disruption, but we didn't have any way to generate card advantage afterwards. Yeah, but who knows how many Gargoth they're playing? Yeah, but like killing animated lands with spot removal isn't really a game-winning strategy. Like, Nissa lands are why I'm leaving Anger of the Gods of Languish in my deck. You don't leave cards like Abrade to kill animated Nissa lands. It's not a good way to approach that card.
fight on without me.
Spot removal that says non-land permanent can't hit it, but that's more removal like that's more the exception than the rule. Yeah, and I'm playing the tome out into the possible mythos here because I have Chandra in my hand. Well, I guess with 2 Chandras, it's kind of whatever. Well, we've been on Grixis about half an hour. It's our second match.
Yup, you're going down.
Burn, baby, burn. Hey, Dirty Goblin. Thanks for the follow. Good afternoon.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
At any cost, chat. At any cost.
Yup, you're going down.
Oh, they were gonna counter my Chandra ult with that. Get out of here. Think I'm happy with how I boarded. Let's run it back. Black Castle for 3+ life is such a power play. It's like, yeah, it's like, I know what this match is about. I understand. Our hand isn't super exciting, but I'm going to give you the best advice you've ever heard, chat. You'll never lose a game because you mulligan to 5 if you always keep 7. It's just them's just the facts.
I know 88 ways to defeat. Hone your prowess.
Bing
Contain
bonk,
your
bing
rage.
bonk. You gonna play another Narset here? Grixis, sure. Got a lot of choices here. What if I start by attacking Narset to see if they trade for Valki? I think I like that line. And then I think now that they've traded for Valki, I just play Chandra and plus her. And deal 2. I can't draw a card because of Narset. And then if they Nissa me next turn, I can plus Chandra for mana, play Nicol Bolas. Nicol Bolas will kill Nissa, and then Bloodchief's Thirst kills the land. And if they don't have the 5th mana for Nissa here, we just bury them in the ground.
Cannot protect itself. The land fights for us.
It's a real shame you can't redirect these triggers to Planeswalkers anymore. This card got nerfed when they made that change.
Hey, watch it.
We're actually not that far off of Ugin because of Chandra's mana. I guess she's dying here though.
This'll be easy.
Much better than Fatal Push, huh?
Rest.
I think it's just this.
Guess you don't need me anymore. If you wish to surrender now, I understand. I have just the trick for this.
I can't draw on my turn because of Narset. Hey, that's not all things considered about Historic Chat. First day back, and I remembered Narset static text 2 times in a row. So, like, you could definitely say that I'm batting firmly above average with those cards. Can solidly stamp exceeds expectations on that one. Oh, fuck, Narset. Forgot the third time, chat. Forgot the third time. All right, so we could have drawn a Bedevil there at the end. Now we just talked about it too. Yeah, that fucking design. Yeah, I don't know. There was really much we could do in that third game. At the top of the opponent's deck was just like super hot. Like the fact that they hit all of the Thoughtseizes. Like we would have been able to sequence our threats out to not die there if they hadn't peeled Thoughtseizes right before each time, right? Like they peeled this one when they needed it, and then they had Thoughtseizes right afterwards, right on curve. All three of the first decks we played today were god-awful. So, Grixis seems like it's maybe fine. I wonder if they're just conceding the match. Maybe they don't know that they concede at the sideboarding screen. I boarded like the... Yeah, it's not like they're just conceding it. You can concede at the sideboarding screen for reference. You just have to escape. We played blue-white control, a bigger red-black sacrifice deck without collected company, and Mardu Feather. On it. If I'm being completely honest, getting savaged with 3 different decks in a row this morning reminded me why I increased the price of viewer submitted decks, because all 3 of those were viewer submitted decks. Even though they were build arounds, they were still like viewer ideas. Get the Thoughtseize on 1, Mazemind Tome on 2. I think I'm taking... Honestly, I think I'm taking Aetherborn here, right? This is the card that kills me. Let's take the card that kills me. We have been playing Historic for almost 5 hours, and we have not played against Goblins once. We played against Rhino in the first match, Wolfie. They're playing like a Gyruda Unburial Rites deck that just died to Grafdigger's Cage. That's a really good draw. The classic Thoughtseize bug. You're either the luckiest man alive or Reddit lied to me. I mean, to be fair, Goblins is a deck that probably just feels bad to play against, so people remember it more heavily. I assume they're gonna Fatal Push their own Scrap Heap here. Don't miss the line. I guess they also don't know that we're not playing creatures, like this Fatal Push is a dead card against us. Getting this Murderous Rider out of their hand before we Valki is great, so we'll Chandra downtick on this side of the Ebon Legion for sure.
My hair is on fire?
I think we're likely in garbage time at this point. The opponent's probably stumbled a little bit too long. That's true, there are technically 2 Fatal Push targets in my hand. Wasn't Chandra into anger better? No, because they have the Murderous Rider face up in their hand, so I want to get a 2-for-1 with my Chandra like we see here. The tempo doesn't really matter in this game.
for the encore.
This is gonna hurt.
Chandra making mana is so good.
This was boring anyway.
This deck, like, I wasn't thinking about it when I built the deck. I just wanted Chandra because she's good at drawing cards. But, like, this deck is, like, low-key really good at leveraging Chandra's extra mana, huh? We have a ton of, like, really good payoffs as we go along.
Trickery is just a hobby. Chaos is my career.
Yeah, we're playing 3 for her. I think 3 is probably the right number, because, like, she's a legendary and she's clunky in multiples, but... Alright, Ugin seems great. Pharika's Libation seems great against their... What's it called? So I think this is actually a matchup where we want to board most of our discard spells out. Ideally, I think I want more cards that play to the board. So I'll leave in a couple of Thoughtseizes. I think they're better than the rest of what's going on here. Yeah, Chandra Tybalt is a 4/5 curve as well, which is sweet. So we only have 10 blue sources in our deck, so casting Thought Erasure on turn 2 isn't super consistent. And yeah, the exile upside of this is very real. There's a lot of decks in this format that care about graveyards. Two angers and one cry. Sometimes anger is better and sometimes cry is better, and I'm a coward, so I'm not gonna commit to them. Listen, chat, I've already committed to Christy for the rest of my life. Don't ask me to make other commitments. Come on now. I'm fully committed, chat. There's no other commitments to make. Alright, let's take your 4/4 before you can play it, huh? Each kid is also a commitment. They're not a rest of my life commitment. They're an 18-year commitment, okay, chat? They move out eventually. They're a long-term commitment, but they're not a forever commitment. Eventually they become self-able. So I think we're just holding up a Bedevil this turn, right? That's true. I actually saw an article that said more millennials and young adults like Gen Zers and stuff are living with their parents still now than we experienced during the Great Depression because of how bad the economy is. Thanks for the follow, Hollow Skull. It's a good reminder that the stock market is not the economy, and the stock market can be doing well while things are bad for a lot of people.
Will remake the multiverse in my image.
I'm gonna be greedy and draw a card with this. The fact that his plus is a 2-for-1 is so good.
You have no weakness I cannot exploit. Do not defy me.
Okay, so now we go down tick on you, play this, down tick on you, and then we Valki next turn.
Defiance has consequence. eons ago.
Valki does answer, Scrap Heap.
The world tree.
Oh, I forgot he gains other Planeswalker abilities. Wait, yeah, how does that work? You may cast cards exiled by Tibalt. Yeah, you actually can't cast them if you +2 him, right? That's how that works? We're done here, right? We're in garbage time? Or do you have a Murderous Rider? You have a Knight of the Ebon Legion. It does not interact profitably. Okay.
Sure, you can handle a little pain.
All right, we're not done playing Grixis. I got another hour or so. Grixis, I need to run to the restroom really quick. BRB. See, real quick. The triple pathway hand looking a scotch awkward here. My deck's like triple pathway hand, Jeff. What about full pathways? Well. That's actually a great draw. Because it means I get to go Chandra plus Chandra, Abrade Krenko. Oh, I should have attacked. I'm not blocking. It's unfortunate that I might have too many pathways in this deck.
Feel my pain.
The fact that we have no land that lets us cast Nicol Bolas next turn is really sad.
Feel the burn.
What if I just play this other Chandra here and plus her? Is that crazy? feel like it's not.
Let's do this. Yup, you're going down.
This costs 3 mana to make it into a 2/2. You're playing Mindstone to ramp. That's cute. I guess Muxus ASAP is just all you want to do, huh?
Oh, now you're asking for it. Oh, today's my lucky day.
Cut the expensive stuff at the top end. Honestly, 2 mana discard spells probably too much. I wonder if we just cut all the discard spells and play to the board. Bloodchief Thirst's a little clunky, I guess. Oh, Gust is good. Yeah, that's true. Gust is fine. Like, Gust is a temporary solution to a permanent problem. Calling Gust good in this matchup is ambitious. It's fine. Trim Bolas, 'cause it's kind of slow and clunky. Probably Valki for the same reason, honestly. Hey, Similar, thanks for 19 months. Welcome back. Good afternoon. I mean, yeah, like, the Gust could technically be a 2-for-1, but it's still, like, not a great feeling. Because, like, you still have to not die to the Muxus after the fact. And again, this is another one of those, like, you know, kind of linear matchups where, like, we kind of hope to draw Grafdigger's Cage, they hope to draw their anti-Grafdigger's Cage card. Pretty sure we want to kill that one. Kill this before they can activate it at the upkeep for a token. Open and draw a red source here in our 28 land deck.
I know. I am. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Again, like, when people frequently talk about decks like what this opponent is playing and, like, things like, what's the word that I'm struggling to say? They talk about things like what this opponent is playing and, like, the Tibalt's Trickery decks, like, they're bugs in Magic, and they're not, right? Like, Wizards has lots of opportunity to take these types of decks out of the game, and like these are a feature that are a part of the game, and if you don't like them, you shouldn't play the formats where they're legal. There's formats where these types of things don't exist, and they very obviously want these types of things to exist. It's okay to not enjoy playing against them, but like at the same time, you should also realize that like these things existing isn't a bug. It's intentional. Yeah, like I don't really like Teferi Time Reveler, so I'm not gonna play formats where that card's legal. Is exactly correct.
Be a pile of ashes!
It could be right to play Valki here. I kind of want to play Nicol Bolas though and weed through their stuff. I feel like them drawing a land next turn is actually bad for me, so. Yeah, completely agree, Kalidor. As someone that just took a few month break for Magic, like, if you're feeling burned out or not liking the play patterns in other formats, you should definitely just take breaks as opposed to slogging through them. Magic's not going anywhere. We might be able to grind this game out without a Grafdigger's Cage. Alright. I'm gonna board an extra Thoughtseize in the draw and kind of Mazemind Tome. I think we have less time to dick around with this type of effect on the draw. Nicol Bolas, like, people, this card wasn't super popular, and I feel like people have forgotten how quickly it pressures the opponent's resources out of the game. It's, like, really good at what it does. I think I'm bottoming that and going 1-2. Yeah, the casting cost is super prohibitive. Changing the dynamic of the game is a good way to describe it. Like, it doesn't look like it, but again, the +1 on this card is technically a 2-for-1, right? Like, it gives you a resource and it takes a resource from them. A really, really strong effect. Like, normally Planeswalkers only give you +1 on that type of effect. That's one card. Alright, so we're looking for one of our 3 sweepers here, huh? Piece of spot removal would be a fine follow-up, but definitely want one of our Angers or our Cry. We can cast either if we find it. I think Moment of Craving is a fine constellation price here. I'll take that and kill this now, and then play a tap land. Oh, can they sacrifice this to deny me the 2 life with Conspicuous Snoop? I should have done this during their draw step, right? Yeah, I messed up. Alright, and there's a good chance we could lose this game by 2 life, right? Every point definitely matters in a game like this. It's a super big deal. Our deck is fine, Matt. I think it checks a lot of the boxes you want to check. That being said, they get to make a goblin here. Do I want to play Bolas next turn? Is that something I want to do? Is that good enough? Or would I rather just draw? I think we're probably supposed to scry for Bolas, right? Because if they attack everything at Bolas, I can block and then he survives and then he gets to do some more. I think it's worth digging for a thing for Bolas here.
All will bow before Nicol Bolas. Witness a mote of my power.
Oh, they have Castle. I forgot about Castle. Crap. Oh, okay.
Your assault is insulting.
Are we the baddies? No, we're not playing goblins. And we have Grafdigger's Cage, chat. I assume this is finding Trashmaster to kill that. But they can't just peel... Well, I guess they can peel Muxus now with the Trashmaster. I have 2 Languish, 2 Anger in my deck. I also have 1 Cry. If we draw the Cry not killing Krenko, okay, the Cry should definitely be an Anger. The fact that Cry doesn't kill Krenko is, like, huge. We're gonna draw the one Coward Split Cry out of the sideboard. If I tome, the Trashmaster's gonna kill it, chat. I could nick down tick on the Trashmaster and then smash the Krenko, and then they only have 4, and then I get to Mazemind Tome next turn. I'm gonna draw. I think I just want to find the Sweeper. If we find an untapped land, I can still Shatterskull the Krenko. So, like, removal is good. Land is fine.
My schemes are never ending.
Oh, they'd have 8 power with the castle. That's a good call. Now they get to sack this to kill my Grafdigger's Cage. Am I dead? I'm actually just dead, right? Yeah, I'm actually just dead on board of the castle. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna play a little bit more historic so far today, but I honestly, I think we might just stay a standard stream for Magic. I've got a Pioneer deck. Maybe we'll sample that format, but so far historic has really not been very fun today. Compared to standard, the games in this format have just not been very interesting. There's been a lot of just what I would classify as bad games of Magic. Yeah, standard feels really engaging, and I've been loving standard, but yeah, like, and it's not even just Muxus, right? Like, that was the first time we played against goblins today. They released Kaldheim, Investigate. Decided to poke back in and see what the format was like with the new set, and I've liked Standard. They just banned Uro in Historic. So we're trying that. Not super enthused about Historic today. I don't know. We're going to try Pioneer if someone donates for it. Someone said they were going to send a donation, so we'll try that too. Maybe that's more interesting if we want a second Magic format. But so far, Historics felt like a miss for me today. Yeah, I agree with the assessment from people in chat that the sacrifice decks prey on a lot of the interesting fair creature decks that could otherwise exist. Something that we talked about yesterday, that I think is very true, is that I think a measurement of whether or not a format is healthy is if a deck like White Weenie can be playable in it, and the sacrifice decks very explicitly make White Weenie unplayable in Historic. I don't even know that people talking about this, I don't even know that this is a problem. Yes, Pioneer is a Magic Online format. Guard yourself, that is correct. I think if you asked me to make a top 10 list of the things that I find obnoxious and Historic, I don't think this would make the top 10.
The whole of the multiverse will bend to my will.
Top 3? I don't know. I'd have to look at it and play with the format. I'd have to look at the format more. I don't know that playing for half a day. We've played against a lot of... There's been a lot of different decks that I've played today. Like, we've played against a ton of different things. I just don't know that I would classify any of them as being particularly engaging or interesting. Yeah, it's just been, I don't even have, a good scientific way to say it. It's just, the gameplay has felt blah. For just, I literally, I wish, as someone who, likes to be articulate and define things, I just don't have a better way to put it other than it just hasn't felt good for a variety of reasons. Part of it, I'm probably going to do at least one more Historic day because, we had 3 viewer-submitted archetypes today to start, and all 3 of those decks were bad, which definitely didn't help with it. This deck felt okay that we're playing. This deck has definitely been the least embarrassing of the things that we've played today, and it's felt the least bad. So, it was a reminder of, why taking viewer submissions, the things that people at home want to pay to see played, on average, aren't good and aren't interesting, because they're not good. And it doesn't lead to a good streaming experience. Yeah, honestly, I would bet that this current matchup that we're playing is the one that we're going to be worst in. Let's see if our opponent takes the bait here. It's not even about building meta decks, Cable Guy. So it's just like this deck that we're playing that feels reasonable isn't a meta deck. It's not about, you have to play something stock to do well. It's about, your decks just have to adhere to a certain subset of heuristics to be competitive. No cards in hand draw into the story. Yep. I'm also just gonna concede this match. This is a matchup where like the Rogues matchup just blows. It blows in Standard too. Like all the brews. We had a matchup matrix earlier today that we looked at. I honestly, Precipic, Historic today has felt a lot like Runeterra's current format. It's a lot of combo decks and people playing past each other and like feeling kind of polarized in the matchups that I'm playing. I think the games of Historic I've played so far today have felt like they have a lot of the same issues that I have with Runeterra's current constructed format. Did someone just say Boda? Thank you for the 32 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. What beats Rogues? Anything aggressive? Rogues just like beats anything that's trying to cast like 4 and 5 mana spells. Anything that like plays 1 and 2 drops to the board tends to devour Rogues. Like Rogues matchup matrix is like really bad. We pulled it up earlier today, so this is from Standard. Nah, it's not as simple as Creature Lands. So this is from Standard data over this past weekend. Rogues is 37% against Gruul, 28% against Mono Red, a little bit of a dog to Sultai, 25% against Black Red midrange, and a little bit of a dog to Esper, and it's 61% against the other category of all the brews. So Rogues is basically the brew killer. It's a deck that's terrible against the decks that are good, and it just like beats up all the sweet things everybody else wants to work on. Which is most of what I play, which is why Rogues is good against most of the things I play. Yeah, so MTG Melee ramping up the number of tournaments that they have definitely greatly increased my love of Magic coming back. Like having a site like Melee that you can pull all of that information on that chart. That was twitter.com/MTG_data is the Twitter account. They just play a mono red ramp spell. Excuse me. Kind of funny. They are playing Big Red, yep. Well, I don't think so. Like, I understand how people work, Precipic. I know that like having that information that I just showed isn't going to change hearts or minds, but it's increased my particular enjoyment of being able to analyze things personally. Like I understand how the world works. I don't need other people to be reasonable for my enjoyment of something to happen. But it's like it's really nice to be able to like for example, the rogues data is a great example of that. My experience playing against rogues and with rogues was that it was bad against all the decks that are good and good against the decks that I like to play, and like seeing that work out that way in reality is really sweet.
I'm the best fire starter there is. This'll be easy.
Some solid wrong half problem here again for us. These cards probably not going to be very useful here. Heartless Act might kill something. That could be like a Goldspan Dragon deck. Yep, Chandra's uptick does let us cast Nikki Beam. And there's a Heartless Act target like we assumed. We really love to draw a land next turn so we can a black land so we can Heartless Act and Nicol Bolas. Oh wait, I can a non-black land will do it too, right? Because I have Abrade. Man, should have been more specific, chat. This pulling a good creature land in Faceless Haven is sweet. Thanks for the 50 months, Punt Count. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I mean, the meta report was more of the same menace. It's just a bunch of linear nonsense. The Aphelios deck that popped up at the very top of the report is just another Burblefish deck.
This'll be easy.
I'm gonna draw an untapped land, chat. Wait, this can plus for mana.
Yup, you're going down.
Yeah, she can. Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. All right, don't even have to draw the land. Sweet. Yeah, that's definitely the line. Yeah, there's a ban and restricted response on my YouTube. I think I linked it in bans in chat. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's actually true, Whiskey Dingo. A number of the cards that do kind of offensive things in Historic, like Muxus, just don't exist in Pioneer because Jumpstart's not legal there, right?
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, thinking about that, I'm actually kind of psyched. I'm actually kind of psyched to try Pioneer now.
Stop! Well, that was a disaster.
I'm surprised they left me this.
Your existence.
I guess they're assuming they could clean him up after with their creature land and giant, but I've got Heartless Act here. They could have another stomp here, I suppose. Or that. Yeah, they could have that. Okay, yep. We have a very small window, chat. Very small window. Luca Fires is legal in Pioneer. The mixture of what's legal in Pioneer versus Historic and vice versa is so weird to me. It's so strange which ones they're leaving in which of those two formats and which ones they're not. Stupid Solemn. Yeah, we're dead. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Preston. I don't think the two formats having unique feels is a bad thing in the long term with Pioneer coming to Arena. To articulate further, in an ideal world, when Pioneer is fully on Arena, I think it would be a really good thing if the formats felt different, because Magic's greatest strength as a card game, in my opinion, is variety of play modes. So if you could have Standard, Historic, and Pioneer all feel uniquely different to play on Arena, that would be a good thing in my opinion. Like giving players options, so if they're burned on one thing, they can jump to another and still play Constructed if that's what they want to play. That's good. That's one of the things Magic does well. That's one of the things Magic's rich history of a deep card pool gives it that other games just can't keep up with. That range of formats is really important. Yeah, and again, like, you know, even like I said, I'm not sure if Historic is a format that I like. We're gonna try it at least one more day after today, but I'm still kind of after today. Even if it doesn't end up that, it could change in the future, right? Like they could change the ban list, or they could add new cards, or things could shift in it, and like I could revisit it later as it changes. I would imagine we are still years off at a minimum for having Pioneer on Arena, Dr. Mr. Bunny. We have years worth of cards, and I imagine like a conservative estimate, or like an optimistic estimate is probably like 2024. I would imagine like in like 2024, 25, 26, somewhere in there, we like have Pioneer on this platform. Hey, thanks for the prime, Andrew. So, I don't have any basics in my deck, and my opponent doesn't have their indestructible land, so I think I actually need to take these Cleansing Wildfires, because if they decide to just, like, try and hurt my lands because of what I've elected to do, they're gonna really mess us up. The Ugin the Ulamog might not be beatable, actually. This is a card that we don't really have answers to. Valki plus 10 mana, lol. This keeps him off of Golos for a turn. We could hit a Thoughtseize or a what's it called before then. God bless America.
I know. I am hot, aren't I? It's over when I say it's over.
Second Faceless Haven is scary. Maybe I'll play the opponent's deck next time we play Historic. I don't know about this card, but the rest of it seems pretty sweet. This seems too cheeky with only 4 indestructible lands. Especially with trying to play Faceless Haven in the mana base. But like Chandra's huge game for this archetype. This is one of our better draws. Need to draw another answer to Faceless Haven here still, but I think we have to keep this to cycle, right?
Weakness I cannot exploit.
We answered Ulamog, we did.
Let your weak minds crumble.
Yeah, Faceless Haven is very good. Alright, so this felt like the least bad of all the historic decks today. It still didn't feel very good, if I'm being honest. There might be something to, in another shell, Chandra ramping into Tibalt. Like, maybe something that's structured to be a little bit more proactive, where, like, this is the top end of your curve. This is, like, good card advantage. Maybe there's, like, a red-black mid-range deck with, like, playing Valkis in this that seems interesting, but overall, this felt like a bit of a miss. Historic was rough today. I feel like moving forward, we need to stick to proactive decks. We need to stick to proactive decks that are specifically not super synergy-driven. Although, I did build this the other night while sitting on the couch. I kind of want to try this. Maybe we'll try this at some point. I don't know. We're gonna do at least a few more historic decks. I'm not off the format yet. Like I said, I think these three archetypes that we played today were all kind of mediocre. Grixis had some decent games, but with me steering which decks we pick out a little bit more, maybe historic could end up being reasonable. But so far, my first impressions are I like this format a lot less than I've liked standard recently. So we're gonna, like I said, tomorrow we're gonna not do all historic. We're gonna do some historic and some standard. I'm probably gonna sprinkle in at least one historic deck a day for the rest of the week, but we'll see. Not making any long-term commitments to it just yet, chat. Fear of commitment. All right, we're gonna wrap that.